Oh, goodness. Oh, my gosh. Hello, 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 hello. Yeah. I've kind of been wanting to do this for a while, so fuck it, I'm gonna do it now. We're gonna do a 1 to 3 star tier list for the Fate Servants. I figure now that Lost Belt 6 has dropped, we've gotten a couple buffs. Sure, why not? Why not go through and do this now instead of, you know, play JP, which I'm not gonna do. So let's just get started. All right. Oh, I guess I should preface this. This is gonna be kind of a general tier list. This is gonna be more geared towards doing like all around stuff, not farming. We're thinking more like you want to level these for your cheap free to play, go through the story kind of deal, and do events. And yeah, basically that. This is not like, we're not going to be doing things with the assumption that you have a super whale set up. Like, for example, let's just say you don't have Merlin, or you don't have a Scotty, you don't have a Tamamo or any of that. You don't have any of the big things that are going to be able to enable some of these guys to like really go off. So like when you talk about, I don't know, fucking... Oh, kind of fucked that up. When we're talking about certain servants, we're not going to be like, oh, you can loop them with Castoria, so you should use with double Castoria, so you should use this. We're not doing that here. This is I have never spent a dime on this game, and I have Klidge level luck, so the only support servant I have is maybe a Tamamo. So yeah, just keep that in mind. This is not going to be a this is not a whale setup. This is general stuff. And I've had the opportunity to practice on a free-to-play account and a regular account with a lot of these. The ones I'm less familiar with are like William Tell and all of the guys that are coming out here and for the anniversary. Trying to find a nice balance of this music. There we go. So yeah, let's get kind of started with this. So first off, we have Bedivere. Bedivere, story locked, pretty good servant, all things considered. Single target buster, enables a lot of nonsense with his. I'm gonna put him in. Hey. Oh. He. I have him leveled up to 90, I think, because I didn't have a single target Saber that wasn't Caesar for the longest time, and he filled that job pretty well. You know what? I don't think he's EX. He did get a really good buff in JP to his first skill, which allows him to add NP gen along with NP damage. So I'm thinking, but is that good enough to be EX tier? That's a pretty significant buff to him. I'm putting him in EX because I'm biased. I'm going to let my bias show through in this, by the way, so just keep that in mind. Having played around in the game for a long ass time, this is just what I think. I think Bedivere deserves to be an EX tier. Giles. No. I like this servant. I like with the potential that he has, but he just kind of let me just adjust this real quick. He has potential, but he needs help. So I don't think that he's the worst thing in the world, because if you get him all the way up to on his third skill, I think it is, all the way up to max level. He just has an infinite Buster buff on him, which is pretty good. But his NP is dog shit, and his other skills are kind of just meh. But I think he's workable, I think. Alright, Jason. I'm not very familiar with Jason, so let me go see what Jason's all about. I know he's arts. AoE, I believe. Let me see. What's Jason's deal? Let's see. First skill is recover one ally's HP by 2,000 and remove remove the latest debuff from him. 4-turn cooldown, that's not bad. Give an ally evade for 1 attack, 1 turn, increase their crit star absorption for 1 turn, reduce own defense by 20%. That's okay. Targetable evade is really good, but for 1 hit it's kind of eh. Okay, Argo buff. Okay, I see. And then these AoE arts. That's okay, I think. It's not outstanding, but it's okay. Let's see, so let's think Argonaut related servants. That's like your Herculeses, your Medeas, your Asclepius, Atalante, guys like that. I think B. I think he's a solid B. Because he's kind of, it looks like he's kind of okay for farming, but his like attack stat at max is, okay, he is a 1-star, so that makes sense. He's at max attack, no grails, 5,457 attack. That's not good. So he's more support-esque. But there's better supports that aren't limited to the Argo niche, so maybe he's actually a C. Targetable evades are really good, but then he also hurts himself by doing that. The minus 20%. You know what? I'm going to be comfortable with C. Speaking of C's, Caesar. He's the best. He's just hands down the best single target budget saber. There's no debate about it. He hits insanely hard, has really good crit support. He's just insane. Fucking sane. Let's see. Fergus. I've played around with Fergus, actually. C. I like Fergus. He's not great. He's trying to be... If he was a berserker, he would be pretty alright. If he was a berserker, I think I'd put him in B. Because he's a saber, I think I have to put him in C. He's like, imagine if you had a worse Hercules, but it only limited the bonus damage to Lancers and was AoE. If he had like an NP charge, unless they buffed him, I don't remember them ever buffing him with like an NP charge. If he has an NP charge where he can actually do like something with that, maybe, but I'm pretty sure he doesn't, so I'm gonna say he's a pretty solid C. He hits hard. I'm not gonna deny that he hits pretty damn hard with his busters, but yeah. Let's see. Yeah, he's solidly okay. Second skill. Yeah, no. He did get an NP. He does have an NP buff. So that's alright. But I'm gonna say he's a C. He's a pretty solid C. And that's about it for the Sabers. Is he better than... I would say he's better than Jason. I'm gonna try and make the better they are, the more to the left they are. Alright. Robin. Is Bedivere this good? I love Bedivere. He's really, really good. But I don't know. I don't think that he's like Robin good is the thing. And if I let my bias show through this, there's gonna be a lot of guys in EX. I'm gonna put him in A for now, and if I second guess myself, we'll move him back up. But okay, Robin Hood is just good, still good. It's super easy to poison things now. A lot of things have like anti-poison, but you can give him command codes that just let you slap it on things so you're more consistent with it. All of his skills are good. He's got a pretty solid star bomb on him, pretty good NP gen, and he hits like a goddamn truck. So yeah, he's up there. He's still good. He still holds out as being good. Touta. C. You're better than both of these schmucks. Anti-demon, AoE, Buster, Archer with healing support. I've played around with him a good amount. I actually have my Touta grilled up to 80 on my main account. He's solidly all right. He's not phenomenal. If he had some kind of NP charge, he'd be really good. But because he doesn't, it really holds him back. But there's a fair amount of things in the game that are demonic, and a lot of which tend to be like Berserker, so he's pretty alright with managing to take out large enemy waves. Or pretty solid enemy waves for like events and stuff, so he's alright. I'd say he's pretty okay. He's not phenomenal, and there's definitely archers that do the job better than him. I think he belongs in C. William Tell, going in B. He's got a very, very strong niche in that he has an NP that cuts through evade and does bonus damage to things with evade. Believe he's got a skill seal as well. Let me see real quick what he is all about to get reminded. Played around with a bit of William Tell earlier. Let's see. He's got pretty solid across the board. Quick arts, buster, so that's pretty good. He's got a star bomb with 30 stars, 6 turn cooldown. That's not bad. Arts buff, debuff immunity is pretty good. Aiming, same thing as Billy, I believe. Also pretty good. One turn. He sets himself up for one really, really good turn and can punch through evade, which is really good. But because he's limited to like one turn of being really reliable, I don't think he warrants being in an A. And he's pretty selfish as well. His only bit of support is his ability to star bomb, which he wants those, so it's not even a support, it's just him feeding himself, which is good. He's pretty good for like being standalone, I guess, in that kind of a sense, or with like a decent star factory to feed him. But he's not better than Bedivere, that much I can definitely say. So I'm gonna keep him in B. Paris, the character who has now thrown two of my friends through an absolute loop for being who the fuck they are. I believe he does some arts nonsense, something with... Does he also punch through evade? Let's see. He has self-evasion. 1 attack, 1 turn. Reduce one enemy's critical attack chance for 1 turn. Removes their buffs. If successfully removed the buffs, 500% chance to inflict vital spot identified, which debuff. Which, what the hell does that do? I assume that means they're going to take more damage. Second skill. Increase own attack, 1 turn, own defense, 3 turns, own debuff, resist, 50%, 3 turns. That's okay. And then NP charge, heal, 20% NP charge. I believe he's a single target. Yes. And, oh, single target quick. That was arts. Oh! He's got okay attack. He's a 2-star. He's okay. He seems okay. I've not had a chance to play around with, like... Again, I've not had a chance to play around with the guys who are coming in the new, because I've only had to in the anniversary, because I've only ever had NA accounts, and it feels like kind of a... Seems troubling to get a JP account with how much content there is right now. I don't have that kind of time in the day to get through all that. So this is just all based on speculation and what I've seen other people do with these characters. He seems solidly okay. His buff removal is really good. Does his NP remove buffs as well? Ignore invincibility. Deal damage to one enemy. Okay, so he has a guaranteed hit with that. That's really good. I think Tell is more consistent. Yeah, I think Tell seems more consistent than Paris does. And it's easier if your budget to support with arts than it is with quick. So I'm gonna say the Tell is better, but only by like a smidgen. Alright. Kid Gil. AoE Buster. Acts a lot like Big Gil, but not as good. Less effective. Let me see if they buffed him at all. Since I've tried him out before, he's alright. I don't remember him being like phenomenal or anything. Charisma A+ is really good for a first skill. Chance to charm one humanoid enemy for 1 turn. 75% chance. Oh wait, there's a buff on that. Gain, okay, has a star gen on it, and it buffed it to 100%. That's really good. Huh. At max level. 7-turn cooldown, though, is kind of rough. And then NP gen. And he has, okay, he seems a lot better than I remember him being based on this. Overcharge effect on NP, reduce their NP damage, reduce their crit damage, reduce their debuff resist, but that's only for 1 turn. That seems pretty alright. I think Tell still, I think, is better. Single target in general, I think, is better than AoE. For the most part. But I think the utility still being able to punch through evade is like really good. I know that Paris does that too, but the rest of his kit is really good. He's geared for just clearing enemy waves and like some like debuffs and stalls with his NP and his second skill. But he can also give support by generating stars. Alright, yeah, I'll concede that he's better than Tell. Seems pretty good. This guy's going up here. that it, I dare you, I double dog dare you to contest that Arash is not one of the best archers in the game. NP, he does one thing, and that's throw his NP, take out whatever the first wave you're fighting is, so you can go on to the next one. And you see that a lot in a lot of the content, where it's just like you'll get a two-stage setup for the fight, where one has mob minions and then the next has the actual boss. He is perfect for clearing that shit out. Like in the most recent Lost Belt, there's a lot of berserker enemies, and they do that a lot, where they put like the two-stage. He's perfect for just being like, all right, get rid of them. Switch in someone else. You can throw on like a like, I don't know. If you've been playing the game for as long as I have, you have like either the Ox King CE or the Carp CE that just makes stars or busters, or buster buff for everyone. Just being able to like have that swap out like that and take care of an entire wave on his own. He's too good. He's so good. Also, great animation update. Love the guy. Love the character. God bless you, Arash. Godspeed. Euryale. I would say still good. I have the Euryale on my free-to-play account leveled up to 92, I think, right now. Because she packs a serious punch. There's a lot of Saber bosses, and there's a lot of male. There's not as many male bosses. There's a lot of Saber bosses. There's a fair amount of male bosses. A lot of berserkers are male. I'd say about probably a good 50-50 split on the Sabers are male, and they seem to be releasing. Well, I can't actually say they've been releasing a lot of male Sabers. I can think of 2 that have come out. Point being, though, she's still good. You can still charm lock pretty effectively. The NP still hits pretty hard. Her one demerit, though, is that like if you're not fighting a male, I wouldn't bring her. But then again, like, you know when all of these characters, I guess I should like have the preface of you know when the right time to bring any of them is, and do they fit? Are they better than another character for that right time? Like, I would say that she's an arts archer like William Tell. She fills more better roles than Tell does. So I'd say that she still fits up here. I like her. She's good. Plus vampirism. Still a fairly good skill. Anything that can stall. She's all about stall, and that makes, in my opinion, that makes her good when there's a lot of content that's just kicking your teeth in. Alright. Our boy Billy. He's either B or A. I'd say that he's A. I don't think he's as good as Bedivere, because he's a lot like Tell. It's all about that one turn, that one really good turn where he has all of the crit buffs. He's better than Tell because he can charge himself up to 50, and when he crits, he is an absolute monster. He's a crazy good single target NP. But then once that turn's over, it's a lot of like, all right, now I just got to rebuild, which is, it's all right. It's not Euryale Robin tier, but it's definitely good. So I'm gonna say he's A. He's A for now. David is maybe one of the best. I think he's probably the best non-caster. Oh, excuse me. He's the best non-caster free-to-play support. Easy. Is this Caesar better? I think, yeah, Caesar's better, I would say. Is he, though? No. David is the perfect character for... He's like a perfect support in a way. Because he provides hard defense, he provides offense, and he knows how to keep himself alive with with all of his skills. Plus, he could stall NPs with his NP. It's just insanely good. I had doubts about whether or not to actually level David for a while, and then the King Protea challenge quest came around. Except like I have had better, I thought better supports, I guess I should say, than David. But the utility of being able to just say no to something, to like massive amounts of damage for one turn, like you can dodge an NP, like any AoE NP with that, and with Gajina being like the big thing right now, finishing out the Lost Belt 4, he has come in clutch with that, because there is just being able to say no to a massive amounts of damage of a Berserker NP as AoE is insane. And just, he has all the utility in the world. He's fantastic. If you've not leveled him yet, level him now. Oh, speaking of guys that are just have all the utility in the world, Cu. I mean, this should go without question. Ignore being hit by anything for 3 turns. Heal yourself, and guts. In fact, he got buffed again, didn't he? Isn't his guts like stupid now? It like gives him like crit damage or something like that. Come on. There we go. Let me see. Yes. Grant self guts for 1 time, 5 turns. 6 turn cooldown. Increase own attack based on the remaining HP for 3 turns. Formula is 20% plus 30%. Well, I'm not going to try and do math. So I assume that's similar to the Animary thing, where the more damage, the more hurt you are, the more you're going to hit hard. Which is crazy. Of course, these other 2 things haven't been buffed. They don't need to be. Does he have sure hit on his... I always forget that. I don't think he does. No, he does. Ignore evade on his NP. Deals insane amounts of damage. It's absolutely absurd that they... It's absurd that they buffed him again. Like, he didn't need it. He was still good. Yeah, he's the king of being like, alright. Like, I take him over some 4 stars. I only have 1 on my main account, 1 5-star single target Lancer, and that's Enkidu. And I have a lot of 4-star single target Lancers that I will not take because Cu is just better. I'll sometimes, unless I'm fighting something divine, I will take Enkidu, but usually it's going to be Cu, and I don't even have him grailed. He's just that good. Alright. Houzouin. See. He's very fun. He's a very fun character to use. He works in one context, and he works in 2 contexts. Double Scotty, which is not being applied to this, and even then that's still like hard to get him to actually go off. Or if he's the only character on your team, which is easier now that Chen Gong is a character, but I've played around with him a lot, and he's just not great. He's totally okay. He can put out a ton of damage if you can get him going, but setting him up properly, it's not worth it. There's so many better options. I mean, if you want to have some fun, go like solo the Tiamat fight with him or something like that. Figure that out. Oh, Tia. Oh, sweet Tia. Speaking of Tiamat, there's Tia dog barking in my damn ear. Okay, Roma. I actually don't know what he's all about. He's one that like I've not played around with much because I have so many AoE Lancers. It's just I've never had a reason to use him over them, which I think might be saying something. Let's see, he's got a buff to his first skill, which was initially Natural Body, which was a heal, which now heals you at max level for 4,000. Okay, NP charge up to 20%, it's pretty good, and ignores own offensive debuff resistance. Interesting. He has Imperial Privilege EX, which is really good. Okay, so he's super fucking tanky. Okay, and he has targetable guts. Okay, so he's like... He's weird. That's really weird. He's like an AoE... He's like an AoE... kind of support? Okay, and his second skill also has a Buster buff attached to it. So yeah, that's interesting. Oh, his deck, though. Quick, arts, Buster, 2-hit quick, 2-hit arts. Does not have an upgraded NP. That's rough. But he doesn't seem bad, though. He's not C tier. I think he's like mid-low B tier, though. Got a lot going. He's got a lot good going for him, and it seems like those buffs that he's gotten are pretty decent. But I don't know. Is he better? No. I'm gonna put him here for now. I'll think about it. All right, Gareth in my heart is right here. I love Gareth. Gareth in actuality, probably like right here. She did just get a buff, so I'm actually not sure. It has something to do with her guts ability. I'm pretty sure she's single target buster, tank, support kind of thing going on. Okay, so that's new. She's considered a Fae, apparently, which is interesting given all the new stuff that's going on. Her base attack is really bad. Oh my god, that's really bad. She's got pretty big defense for a 2-star. Alright, let's see. She has standard battle continuation, which then turns into The Wolf Never Sleeps. That's a really cool name. Which increases self-gut status. Grants self-gut status 1 time, 3 turns. Increase on crit damage for 3 turns. Gain crit stars. 20 crit stars at max level. 50% crit damage. That's really good. Charges own NP on her second skill. Charges own NP gauge. And increases own attack for 1 attack, 5 turns. When attacking... Wait, what the fuck? 5 turns when taking attack by enemy for 3. Okay, so every time she gets hit, she can get a 20% attack buff. So if you use her third skill, which I believe is a taunt, which also increases NP gen and defense. So she's all about taking damage and then dishing it out. And with the second skill upgrade where she can now just crit like a monster, having plus 60% attack, then plus 50% crit damage, and then is this okay? And the crit buff stays on her for 3 turns. That's really good. Okay, that's a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Okay, this is where I'm absolutely going to be biased about this. I'm going to say she's so far best in B. With that buff, I think that makes her best in B. So she's acts like a big wall, takes a bunch of damage, and then dishes out a huge amount of damage in one turn. She seems like she needs like supports with her though to actually make that work out. Lucky for her though, there's a lot of really cheap well, not a lot of really cheap buster supports, but like enough that make it count. Whereas like she's pretty viable buster and crit supports that are cheap that I'd say, yeah, okay, I'm gonna settle there on that. I didn't realize it was that good. That's a huge buff. Oh my god. Jaguar Warrior, you're like right here. I love Taiga. She's very cute. In practice, she ain't great. All of her skills have pretty high cooldowns, if I recall correctly. And they don't hit extremely hard either. Oh, that's not true. They hit pretty damn hard. One of them relies on you being in a forest, which only happens every now and then, really. I don't know. She's not fantastic, but she's not the worst thing in the world. And as I go through this, I'm feeling more and more confident in my Bedivere being an A because he's story locked. Which means if you don't have him, means getting him to MP5 is a pain in the ass. Okay, let's see. First skill, Jaguar Punch A. Increase Buster for 3 turns. Increase Mental Debuff 3 turns. Self-Evade 2 turns. Gain Crit Stars. That's a lot of stuff that it does. 10 turn cooldown. That's not worth it. Jaguar Kick. Own Attack 2 turns. 30% when it does that. That's a 5 turn cooldown. Not bad. And then her third skill relies on you being in a forest to like do any of the really good stuff, but otherwise it's just a 50% crit damage buff. 6 turn cooldown. If her first skill had a 6 turn cooldown, I'd say she was an A tier, but it doesn't, so I'm gonna say she's mid-low B tier. Yeah. I can't bring myself to put her higher, which is a shame because like when she first came out, I was going to be like, man, I'm leveling the shit out of this character. And I tested her and I was like, oof, that ain't great. Hector! I'm not putting him right here just yet. I just need to check to see what he does. If I remember right, I think, well, maybe I am putting him there because I remember Romulus being better. Because Hector has like a weird-ass bag of shit that he does. But he got buffed as well, if I recall correctly. Let's see. He had Military Tactics, which is now Guardian of Troy. 5 turn cooldown. Increases party's NP damage for 3 turns. That's pretty significant. And then reduce damage taken for 2 attack 3 turns by 1,000, 5 turn cooldown. That's pretty good. For friendship, chance to stun, reduce NP charge, 5 turn cooldown, but 80% on both of those, which is meh. And then disengage. So recover own HP. His first skill is, now that it's been buffed, is definitely his best, I would say. Because 20% NP damage is pretty good. And he has an upgraded NP too, I think. Yeah, and it ignores defense, which is pretty good. I think he fills his niche stronger than Romulus. Maybe even better than Paris. Yeah, I'd say he's better than Paris. He's like a pseudo support Lancer with NP damage, which is weird. Benkei. Pretty cool. He's not good. He's not good. He also got buffed recently with the Ushi update, I'm pretty sure. Let's see. He has 5-turn cooldown, chance to seal one enemy's skills for 1 turn. That's okay. He has a taunt for 1 turn. It also increases his defense. And then chance to seal all enemies' NPs for 1 turn, 8-turn cooldown with an 80% chance for that to land. He kind of can, but there's so many better options, and he has 2 skills that are... Okay, he's got 1 skill that might hit with the longest cooldown. And then they buffed his NP, which is a chance to stun, but it also removes their buffs and gives them curse. That's significant, kind of. He's got okay he's got okay health. Quick arts buster. I don't know, man. I would need someone to hard sell me on that. I've played around with him. Oopsies. Played around with him a bit, and he's not great. Yeah, but that's the thing, is if you need the taunt, but then those 2 are just so much better, and you also have mash, which does all of that and better. So I'm never gonna put him in C. I might be convinced to put him in D because he has remove buffs on his NP now, which is actually a fairly significant buff. But like, I don't know. There's better things to use taunt with. I'll put him in D for now, because I do think the removal of buffs on an NP is pretty good. But we'll see. Speaking of things that can taunt, Leonidas. Oh, Geronimo, spoilers, is going in cool. That's just happening. He has all of his skills are just projection. And if his NP hit harder or healed more, or like they gave one of those skills like an NP charge, I would say that he could at least be C, because his NP has all of his utility in it. But I can't go. Yeah, it's a shame. That's a damn shame. But yeah, Leonidas, I'd say A. Get crit stars when he NPs. Has 3-turn taunt on that. He's got a guts on that. I don't know, did he get buffed with all the Roma stuff happening? I don't remember that happening. Let me just take a quick peek. But I've been using him a fair amount recently, actually, just because the star gen on that is pretty decent. Rearguard's Pride, which is pretty good. Battle Continuation, Warrior. Okay, no, he did not. He has not received a buff. The Buster buff is also pretty significant for that, so he makes for a pretty alright Staller support. Just slap like a K-scope on him or something. Assuming you have you don't even need a K-scope. You can use like a 50% one and just have him get beat up a bit, hit him with the taunt, have him stall out for what you need, and then he's just perfectly usable from there. He's good. I like him. I bring him... I actually think I bring him more than I bring George, just because George steals stars in this... Yeah, George steals the stars, and I like the Buster buffs because I still believe in the Buster meta. But George is absolutely a better servant all around. I just use Leo more. But yeah, no, great servant, level him. Diarmuid. Let's see. It's another servant I've been playing around with a bit. He's not great. He's solidly okay. Oh yeah, the NP gain on Leonidas is insane. Like, he's a great unit. You know what? I'm letting my bias get in the way. He's better. You can bring him into more situations than you can Bedivere, and Bedivere also has that lowered NP because of his story lock status. Yeah, I'm okay with this. Diarmuid, did you get a buff that I'm not aware of, my boy? Mind's Eye True, Love Spot, Knightly Tactics. Ay. You need help. You need help, my friend. Yeah, you are. I think, in terms of like utility, I'd rather have a Jason than a Diarmuid. You need some help, my friend. It's just there's a lot of really good Lancers, and you just don't make the cut, my guy. Speaking of really good Lancers, Proto Cu. I'd say A. Back over here. A lot like regular Cu. He has an anti wild beast function, which works. Like there's a good amount of things that are wild beast. He has the protection from arrows, which is really good for keeping him alive. Crit damage buff, which is really good for him. Pretty solid NP. He's all right. I mean, he's better than Gareth, so I have to put him up here. I may go back and put him down a bit, but I think that's totally fine with where I think that's fine with him being there. He does pretty much everything that regular Cu does, but slightly worse. And that's nothing. That's not at all anything to. Right, being slightly worse than Cu is like one of the least bad things that you can be. And for the final of the Cus, I need to see what his new buff is. The one that like just came out. Cause let's see. He also got a really nice NP animation update, which looks phenomenal. Let's see. Okay, it gave him an NP charge and he's an AoE caster, so AoE buster kind of caster. Upgraded NP, which increase. Okay, upgraded NP increases zone buster by 20% for 3 turns before dealing damage. His first skill, 50% crit damage, debuff resist, 30% NP charge. He also has protection from arrows, and then a heal on a short cooldown. All of them are 5-turn cooldown. Okay, that's really... The fact that he now has an NP charge, I'm gonna... Whoop, not up there. I'm gonna put him here for now. I'm willing to second guess that, but that's... Protection from arrows is such a good skill. And combined with the fact that he now is able to just like dish out pretty decent crit damage. No, I'm going to put you here actually. That's tough. Because casters that can crit is something that DW is really trying to have happen, and it's really difficult to get that to go. Yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at. He's good, but there's other things. Like honestly, if you want to deal with enemy waves that are assassin, then yes, go ahead with that. But there's like already a lot of like casters that do that already. Like Paracelsus, who I'm gonna throw into. I'm just gonna put him right here. That's about as good as you're gonna get with like a budget art support. And for like, again, this isn't a farming tier list, but he enables a lot of just like really bonkers shit. And yeah, I'd say you want to bring him more than you bring Euryale. So he's definitely up there. Caster has like the best and the worst servants in it. It's like if they're not insane, they're not good, which is kind of fun. Yeah, no, he does. Paracelsus does a lot. Yeah, I'm comfortable with Cu being in B for now. I think it's a really significant. Without that buff, I'd say he's like right here. But with that buff, I'd say he's fine up here. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, being able to enable other things makes them insane. Speaking of enabling things, this one might be controversial. I'd say I'd put Shakespeare here. He's good. Being able to give a 20% charge to an ally is really good. His Buster buff is insanely good, which is for maybe he's up here. Because his Buster buff is, I think, 40% to the entire party, and his NP has the potential to stun, if I recall. But I don't know. Yeah, I think I'm comfortable with Shakespeare being here. I find myself bringing, for Buster support, bringing Leonidas more than I bring Shakespeare. Actually, let's do it like this. I think that works for me. Excuse me. It's like 90 degrees. I need to stay hydrated. Let's see. Yeah. Good servant. He's still pretty alright. I think that, again, caster class is pretty oversaturated with broken stuff, for example. Mr. Hans, Christian Andersen himself. Crit support. Can do the NP generation and star generation all in one skill. He's just Merlin, but tiny and tinier and angrier. And for that, he can stay right here. He's great. He's insane. Still usable, even like in the new Lost Belt. Oh yeah, no, if I didn't already know who I wanted to grail, I'd probably get him up to at least 80 myself. He's just insane. And also, I've not talked about this very much for these lists. The fact that he has such a small servant cost and does so much is so helpful for like challenge quests and stuff like that. I mean, it's more of a standard tier list, but like for like events and stuff, being able to get him and like all of the other craft essence and whatnot on there, and have him still be as impactful as he is. Yeah, he's just insane. Asclepius. You're probably A tier. Yeah, I'd say you're like right here. You'd be higher if you weren't story locked, my friend. He does good, pretty decent healing. Not pretty decent. He does insane healing. Gives the entire party except himself guts. Let me just double check all his skills. That way I'm not feeding lies to the people. I would feel bad if I was lying to people. Let's see. First skill, 5,000% heal. Sorry, 5,000 health heal, 5 turn cooldown, which is stupid. Is an NP seal with a 100% chance at max level and a increased party's NP generate for 3 turns. Rolled 60 Saints Quartz for him, didn't get a single copy. Same for William. Yep, trust me, the exact same thing happened to me on my main account. I don't have either of them on my main account. I got 1 Hot Wheels. I think I also rolled 60 quartz because I can't super whale. I did manage to pull him on my free-to-play account, which is just, it's heartbreaking, but like expected. I do not have Scotty or Jolter on my main account where I've whaled for both of them. I spent the entirety of the anniversary St. Quartz last year on trying to get Scotty and didn't get her. On my first roll on my free-to-play account, I pulled a Scotty. Same thing with the Jolter when that banner showed up. It breaks a man. It breaks a man. And he also has a 20% NP gauge charge for the whole party and removes debuffs. Oh god, that's a lot of really good shit. And he has... I'm just going to assume he's NP2 for anyone who did manage to pull him. Which would be a 2,000% or a 2,000 HP. You know what? I'm going to put you right here. It's fitting. Mind you, I do plan on streaming when the anniversary event hits, so y'all can watch me go do my GSSR and blow all of the Saints Quartz and trying to get Da Vinci Lily and probably walking away with my 8th Liz. So you're going to watch a man cry on stream, so be ready for that. Yeah, he's crazy. I would put him up here if he wasn't story locked, but being story locked is... That is not an automatic no for being an EX, because a lot of the story lock servants are just really good. But I think having taunt is just, well, You know what? I'm gonna put him above Leo just for now. I might change my mind. Medea. I would put Medea right here. Buff removal and MP spamming that buff removal is the name of the game, and she's really fucking good at it. Like, even now, I'll bring her in just random, like, any situations. She's not meant to be an assassin killer. You bring her to say no to boss fights, pretty much. That's the one thing that she does, and she's really good at it. So I would say, well, okay, maybe she's not. Well, I'm sticking to my guns. I use her way more than I use Billy, so I'm gonna say right there, it's just fine. I'd say she's still fairly viable. All right, the clown I think is cool. I've tested him. He has one thing going for him, and that's his 3 times buff preventing. Other than that, I've not seen like a really bright side to him. What's his name? Mephistopheles. Oh man, let's see. Has he received any buffs? He has a chance to reduce an enemy NP gauge 80%. Innocent monster. Generate 9 stars, but reduces own defense by 18% for 3 turns, and then his inflict curse and buff block for 3 times for 1 enemy. And he does have an upgraded NP, which ignores defense, but there's just better. There's so many better options. I can't defend. I can't. If anyone wants to try and defend the clown, they can. I can't bring myself to do it. Here's the one thing he's got going for him is that he's better than Geronimo. Geronimo has 1 skill. He has projection. His NP is really good. Is really, really cool looking, and it can do a lot. but God, he's a damn shame. He's a damn shame. Plus, like, aren't the cooldowns like pretty long on his thing? I'm pretty sure they are. Let's see. No, 5 turn, 5 turn. 5 turn. They all go up to 50, which is like, that's okay, but he does have an upgraded NP, which is always worth mentioning. With it gives you a 2,000 heal if you have a max level. It reduces crit attack chance, which is pretty good, but he's a yeah, exactly. It's a shame. Because I like the character a lot. I like the design. He has one of the coolest looking NPs in the game, and he's just not fantastic at all. It's so sad. You know, what's not sad, though, is Chen Gong. Taunt, Buster memes, enables Berserkers to be even more Berserker. You can just clear out your supports like that you no longer need, so you can swap in fresh blood. He's insane. When he comes around with the anniversary, I recommend taking him to his max level immediately, and then even then some if you are so inclined. He's just he is essentially the Shakespeare killer. He's just so good. Is he better than... Yeah. Well... he's more versatile than Caesar, I would say. By that logic, I think Arash is too. Yeah, no. Chen Gong is just crazy good. Babbage, he got an insane buff. Like, he is now, like, actually pretty viable, if I remember right. I think it's on his 3rd skill, which now just, like... Let me see. Alright, so he has a 30% NP generation and a 1000% star absorb, which is really good. Mechanized armor, which is a attack buff and gives himself invincibility for 1 turn. 25% attack buff, also 1 turn. It's nothing, just the... Oh wait, that got upgraded. Which now increases own attack for 3 turns. Okay, for 40... Okay, yeah, that's really good. And then his 3rd skill, which is the one that got buffed. Oh yeah. Let's see. 3rd skill increases own NP damage for 3 turns by 25%. Own crit damage for 100%. Gives himself burn and a 30% star bomb. He is... Yeah, he is pretty much a single target. He's a single target crit caster with an upgraded NP that does pretty damn good damage. I thought it also decreased defense, but I could be... No, it doesn't. Wait, no, yes it does. He's... That newest buff... He's just kind of a better caster Cu. Oh, even with Caster Cu being buffed, they say he's just a better Caster Cu right now. And you can make the argument... No, I'm not going to make the argument that 1 turn of invincibility is better than a 3-time hit. Yeah, no, I'm comfortable with him being here. That newest buff makes him an absolute monster. Without it, he's like without it, he's like here. maybe here, but with that buff, he's here. Go level up your robots, guys. He's cool. Mozart. Right here. He only has 2 skills, but they're 2 absolutely bonkers skills with a really pretty decent NP. It's not the best thing in the world, but it's definitely worth mentioning. If I recall correct, it is a 44% arts buff for 1 turn. He doesn't have a second skill, so don't talk about it. And then he has a 50 crit star bomb, guaranteed crit for anything, 6 turn cooldown for his 3rd skill. And then he didn't have an upgrade NP. I didn't think he did. Cheap, broken, Mozart. Level him. He's insane. I'm not talking about this. No, he's better than Geronimo. Is he better? No, he has more viable. He is not as viable as the clown. The removing buff thing, or the 3-turn buff block is, or 3 times buff block. Jeez, I cannot talk. Is so much better than anything that this guy does. And I can say that with definitive proof, because there is someone on my friends list, I think his name is Sam, who has him grailed to is either 90 or 100, and he sucks. He has him in the best possible position that he could be to use him, and he's awful. There's no reason to use him. There really isn't. Never mind the fact that he's, like, weirdly rare. Like, I don't think he's story locked, but he never, ever shows up. Let me see. Like, I've been playing this game for God knows how long. I think since whenever Da Vinci, OG Da Vinci, first released, is when I joined. Because I think she was my second 5-star. My first 5-star was Cu Alter, who is he's my boy. That's my boy. He is locked until you complete Orleans, and will be added to the summoning pool once. Okay. No, he's not good. He's not good. Oh! I'm just gonna check to see if he's received any buffs since I last checked. Okay, he has. His second skill got buffed, which was the same as Mozart's before, I believe. Maybe even worse. Reduce all enemies' NP damage for 1 turn, their arts resistance for 3 turns, their buster resistance for 3 turns, all for 20%. And then he has Evil Eye of the Abyss, which inflicts terror, which is okay. That's pretty good. I'll concede he's better than the clown. I don't think that he's D tier because all of that's real neat. It's not impactful enough, I don't think. Alright, I'll be right back. Oh! Alright, Avicibron. Or Avicibro. He's B tier. He might not. Yeah, no, he's B tier. I like Avicibron a lot. His kit is really good. The fact that he has the ability that allows him to die and give everybody a... I think you can get up to 2 invincibles on that shit. Let me check. The fact that you can do that, and you can now enable it with Chen Gong, is insane. Let me see. It's the Fig. Fig Tree of Tranquility. Okay, at max level it is 3. With an 8-turn cooldown, which is fine, because if you're going to use that skill... Okay, gotcha. Oh, you're good. You're good. Yeah, which is insane. He pairs insanely well with Chen Gong. He's great for, like, harder content. He's... his NP generation buff on his NP is really good. And he can spam it pretty effectively. So, I think he's pretty good. I don't think that he's A tier, but he's definitely... No, the Cu buff is too good. He's kind of situational, but at the same time, I like him. I've played tests with him a fair amount. I like him a lot. Okay. Bart. I don't know anything about Bart. I'm going to be real with you. Like, I know of all of the new characters that are coming out, he, I think, is definitely the one I'm the least familiar with. Let's see, he has really... Okay, he's a 1-star. He's got 5,461 attack, and really not great HP either. Let's see. Voyager of the Storm A+, a really good skill. Pirate Gentleman, reduce on critical star absorption rate by 100% for 3 turns. Increases party critical damage for 3 turns. Up to 40. That's not bad. Increases own quick performance for 3 turns. Reduce all enemies' crit attack chance for 3 turns. Gains crit stars. So he's got a 20-star bomb with a 5-turn cooldown. A 3-turn... Okay, that's really good. Okay, so his niche is that he does more damage with his NP to lower rarity enemies. And his NP reduces defense. Gotcha. He seems alright on paper. I'd say the thing that's holding him back the most is the fact that he has awful attack. And so, really, that means that his first ability, which gives him a... Well, okay, so he's just straight up a support. Which is awkward being a writer. But he's just a support. Kind of interesting. I'm getting like big Jason vibes from him. I'd say he's about here. On paper. I've not played tested him, so that's subject to change. Because a lot of these are really good on paper, or they seem really good on paper, but in actual practicality are not fantastic. like Touta, for example. I love Touta. He's got really, really good skills. He's so niche, it's unbelievable. And Romulus having all of this healing, he also is got like a lot of really good stuff going for him on paper, but then actually going out and using him is... I have playtested him Lux, so one of my friends list has him up to 100. And he's not fantastic. So this one's subject to change, but for now I'm reading that he's about right here in C. Yeah, he seems very, very forgotten. I mean, because I think I'd even take a Fergus over him. I think I'd even take a Jason over him, because his only like big support is that he has a Star Bomb and Voyager of the Storm, and he does damage to weaker stuff, which I guess in the early game is pretty alright if you're fighting weak casters or berserkers. But there are better... I'm moving these guys up here so we can just do a pirate thing. Yeah, there's better AoE riders. Columbus! I'd say he's C. I have him... He's story locked, so he's hard to get. And his skills are alright. He's got a guts that gives him NP. He's got a buster ability and a Star Bomb, I believe. Let me check real quick. He's solidly okay. I wouldn't even say he's okay. There's better options. He also has Voyager of the Storm, that's right. Yeah, his Buster has the, it's only a 15-star Star Bomb. And a 20% Buster buff. Yeah, he's solidly okay. I you know what? I think Houzouin's better than he is. Columbus okay, but among the low rarity servants, you have to be unique or you're kind of out. Yeah, exactly. He doesn't have a niche. He's very bland. And if he wasn't story locked, maybe I would think about putting him over Houzouin, but because he is, he's just not... He's not worth it. Here's probably one of my most controversial ones. Not better than Bedivere. Up here. Blackbeard is insane. He... up until Asclepius came out, I would argue that he is one of the best rider supports. I would say that he's that's not something I can actually say with any certainty. I think that he is insane. His ability to heal and double down on his healing on females makes him really viable. I believe he has a defense down on his NP that's pretty significant. And he's got guts that stays around forever that he can just keep using. Let me see, just to double check this. That's right, he's called Edward T, shouldn't he? Not Blackbeard. Let me see. Yeah, he's got Voyager of the Storm A, so he has that for some pretty good NP support. 16 and 16% respectively. Increases his own attack by 27%. He has an Eternal Guts. And then he can heal 4,000 health to females or feminine looking. That's really funny. I didn't know it was labeled as that. Characters. He only has one passive, but he has a small star bomb on his NP. That's what it is. And he has a chance to reduce NP charge on something. He is... It's one that is like doesn't seem that like impactful on paper, but I've play tested with him a lot. He's phenomenal. Love using him. Is he better than Medea? No, he's not better than Medea. Is he better than Billy? No. I will say I think I use him more than I use Shakespeare as a support. He's a more niche support, but that what he does I think is impactful enough that I would put him up here. Alright, Boudica. I love Boudica. I really do. I need to look at all the shit that they've done to her because they buffed her a lot. Alright, let's see. If this ever wants to load, that'd be fantastic. There we go. Yeah, strengthening 3, jeez Louise. Alright, first skill increases party's damage against Roman, that doesn't matter. Increases crit damage by 50% for 3 turns, that's really good. Battle continuation with a 7-turn cooldown. And then 20% arts buff. And that... is that right? You've had 3 strengthenings. Let's see. Then your NP. Let's see. Increases party's defense by 20% for 3 turns. And then for 1 turn, 40%. And increases party's attack for 3 turns, 40%. So... she is... oh wait, no, her... okay, I was just... Jesus Christ. Strengthening 4. She can now target her guts and increase their max HP by 2,000 at max rank. She is very good. I would say if she was not a rider, she would be A tier. Because she is a rider, I think that about right here is fitting for her. Targetable guts is such an impactful thing in this game. And also being an arts crit support is really good. If you're not trying to whale, if you're not trying to be a whale, then either going all in on arts or all in on buster for a team comp is a good idea. Arts is the easiest thing to do because there's so many broken fucking casters, as you can see. But god, they've really babysat her, which is great because I love this character. Whenever they release Avenger Boudica, which I promise you they will, I will wail on stream until I get her. So call me out on it in like 2.5 years when that happens. And mark my words, they will do it. Because I know there's already a precedent for there being an Avenger Boudica. Alright. I want to put her here. In my heart, Ushi's here. Right next to Gareth. This is my heart right here. Is these two. In actuality, I can't justify putting her over Hans, or I can justify putting her over Mozart. Cannot justify over these 4. She just received a really good buff. She is the only she's the only non-support single target rider in the lower rarities, which is a problem that I realized when I was using my free-to-play account, is that there are no budget single target riders except for George and her. And I didn't have one leveled until I got Ryoma. Oh, Ushi's the best. I love Ushi. She has the quick buff on her first skill along with the NP gen. That's right, they buffed her charisma from C to 6 Arts of War, Thunder and Gale, which is a increased party attack by 20%, crit damage by 50%, star bomb 20%. 5-turn cooldown. It's fucking insane. And then she has evasion with a star gen that no one cares about. And then her NP is just broken. It's just broken. In my heart, I want to put you right here. You know what? I'm putting you right here. Someone will be mad at me for that. She is the first unit I took to 100. I fucking love Ushi. Also there's a ton of like caster bosses that she can just annihilate. It's great. Red hair. You're better than Columbus and you're better than Houzouin. But I think that's all you are. The canonical... the canon to Fate lore level 100 servant. The only one that we're aware of. But... let me check his skills again. He has one that's just like all chance based, if I remember right. Someone called me out. Oh, on my making my friends guess Fate Servants video that I put on YouTube after that stream. That this is the only character that is a gender bend from a female to a male, because Red Hair the horse was a female. Which is really funny. Because they're right. Shout out to that guy. Alright, let's see. First skill is a 30% quick buff, 50% star rate. That's pretty alright. With a 5-turn cooldown. Every single martial arts horse. Chance to increase uncritical star rate. Star absorption, sorry. Chance to ignore invincibility and grant, so you're guaranteed your evasion, but you might ignore invincibility and you might increase crit star absorption, which has an 80%, which means it's a 0%, honestly. Then increase own crit. Okay, so he's just a big crit monster. You know what? I think that warrants you being up here. I think that you're better than I don't think you're better than Tell, but you're probably better than Jaguar Warrior. You require less setup. So I'm willing to put you right here. Let's see. George! Hello, George. You offer more to the team. This feels really bad. If I'm going to be honest, oh my gosh, let me fix that real quick. From my experience is that George is fantastic. He's a great unit. I would rather bring MASH. I don't find myself in as many situations where I'm like, I need someone to be a taunt wall, and if I do, I usually just bring Mash, because she's just that good. Mind you, with the Lost Belts, I have leveled him up, and he does work phenomenally. So there's no denying that he's like one of the best, just one of the best servants in the game, period. But yeah, I'm comfortable with him being right here. I cannot in good consciousness say that he's better than Ushi, just because of what Ushi does and how effective she is at what she does. I find that I need someone to just destroy a berserker or caster boss more than I need someone to be blocking, being a wall for me. Exactly. If he didn't eat all the stars, that's his one flaw, is that he does that. Mind you, he's very fun to pair with, like, if you have a Sigurd, pairing him with Sigurd or Siegfried is very, very fun, just to make things explode. So if you haven't done that, do that. I'm lucky enough to have a Sigurd, which has both of my anti-dragon, what are they called, command codes on them, and putting those two together just makes things scream. It's awesome. But yeah, I find myself bringing Ushi more than I would bring a George. All right. Budget quick support. Alexander. Here. He's good. I will never deny that he's not good, but I think that all that he is good. He's got a charisma, if I remember right. He's got the quick buff, and he has the charm. And then he has a pretty strong NP. Let me see if he has any buffs I'm not aware of. Yeah, Charisma C, which is okay. Rosy Cheek, okay, he did get buffed. Okay, his charm removes buffs now, which is, it has a 100% chance to hit at max level. That's pretty good. And then a 20% quick buff. Upgraded NP, which has a, okay, there's a star bomb attached to it, with 35. That's nothing to sneeze at. I'd say here, actually, then. He's a pretty good budget support. I'd say he's better than Kid Gil. And I think he's the only, like, real quick support you're gonna get at the lower rarities. Mandricardo. I don't know what the fuck he does. I've never seen him used. Like, I know what his NP looks like, and that's it. And I know he has something to do with Charlemagne. Alright. First ability is... I think he dies when he uses his NP. I think you're right. I think, yeah. Let's see. First skill. 30% defense buff. 20% attack buff for 5 turn cooldown. That's pretty good. Holy shit. And his second skill can only be used when his HP is 50% or less. Increase own attack for 1 attack, 1 turn. Increases own critical damage for 1 attack, 1 turn. Grants self on attack, activate debuff for 1 turn. 500% chance to disable own HP recovery for 1 turn. Removes enemy defensive buffs when attacking. And 500% chance to self-sacrifice when attacking for 1 turn as buff. So he kills himself. So he gives himself huge buffs, an enormous buff, and then fucking dies. With 50% attack, 100% crit damage. And then he has increase on quick and arts performance for 3 turns, and 500% chance to draw attention of all enemies to self by 300. What? That doesn't make any sense. 500% chance to draw attention of all enemies to self by 300% for 1 turn. That's either redundant or a typo. And his NP is arts, deal damage to 1 enemy, 500% chance to reduce own attack by 10% for 1 turn. Then increases all of his quick arts and buster by 40% at max level. Is he story locked? He's not. Okay, so he kills himself after on his 2nd skill. That's interesting. I don't know if interesting equals good, but it's interesting. So he comes in, does 1 big turn of like stuff, then fucking dies. I'm thinking here. That's pretty alright to like cycle through things. Similar in a way to Arash, but it seems like you need a lot more setup for him to actually do any of that. I don't know. I think there's better options on the table for that. He seems interesting. I like his design, but I don't know. All right, Medusa. Yeah, he is kind of a meme. Medusa. You're very okay. This is another one where in my heart you're like up in this area, but in actuality you're probably like, you're better than red hair. You're more consistent than red hair. So okay. Yeah, you're more consistent than red hair, so I'm fine with putting you right here. I've played tests with Medusa a lot on both of the accounts I have, and she's solidly okay, I'd say. I don't know if I would ever. I don't know. There's better. There are other things I would rather be using than Medusa. Her Petrify's good though. It's a pretty solid skill, but I don't know. Where are we putting you, my friend? Wow, I feel bad. I do not remember your name. I do not use you nearly enough. Ninja boy. I know what he does. He has a targetable evade. He's insane with star generation. And I think he's got skill seal on his... I keep wanting to say Kojiro, but that's not right. God, this is so embarrassing. 'Cause he's a really good character. Really good character, and he's an alright unit, I would say. Fuma, that's right. Fuma Kotaro. Let's see what you got. Reduces attack, reduces crit rate. Grants ally evasion. And increases critical star generation. And then reduce all enemies debuff resist, reduce their defense for 3 turns, and inflict buff block status for 1 time, which, that's really good. And you also have the confusion thing, that's right. And you reduce defense and deal damage. Where'd he go? That's pretty good. He's just like a support assassin, because he also does like star generating. Yeah, he's a lot like a low. He's like the budget Jack. with more support capabilities. I'd say about here. Yeah, I'm comfortable with it being there. He's alright. I don't know. I think there's other things that are... There's other assassins that do more, I guess? I don't know. It's very rare when you need someone who just constantly makes stars like this, when so many characters now have just a star bomb skill on them. But like, if you need that kind of consistency, he's really good for that. I say if his NP had something where it was, instead of skill seal, it was NP seal, he would maybe be an A tier, but because it's skill seal, I'm going to put him here. Charlotte! Put you here for now. I'm not very familiar with you either. I know you're a single target arts with some RNG nonsense attached. Charlotte Corday. Very fascinating historical figure. You're 1 star, right? Yeah. Grants own instant kill success rate. Okay, so your instant death memes. With a... Okay, with a 2 attack evade that lasts for 3 turns on a 5-turn cooldown. That's not bad. Ignore invincibility is really good. Increase own attack by 30%. Debuff resistance for 3 turns. 6-turn cooldown. Okay, the ignore invincibility is pretty impactful. Okay, so yeah, here it is. Ludicrous planning. Randomly increases own arts performance or critical damage or NP damage for 3 turns. So... It says or instead of and, so I'm under the assumption that this is... You have the chance of getting one of these instead of it being like all of them. Which is really kind of rough. And then your NP, you remove... Okay, she removes not defense. You remove evade. Which... Removes evade, ignores defense, hits pretty hard. I'm gonna say, like, right... I'm gonna say down here. There's way better single target assassins. And the fact that there's a huge RNG thing attached to her. I'd even say right here. I think Houzouin's better. Yeah, she has a lot of really cool stuff going for her. Maybe if you took her to 100. But from how I'm reading this, she seems just like... She hits hard on her NP, but she is really... It seems like it's pretty difficult to enable her to do that. She is an art servant, though. Okay, NP generation. Nah, okay, she's fine being right there. Alright, Cursed Arm. My boy Cursed Arm. Also has a really high star generation. Single target, instant death memes, protection from arrows, a kind of star bomb that triggers twice. I'd argue you're better than Kodoro. I'm saying you're going right here. Well, No, you're I don't think. Yeah, she's similar. She's like a much worse Shiki. That's what I'm getting from Corday. She's a much worse Shiki and a much worse 100 Faces. I'm gonna say Cursed Arm goes right here. You know what, let's do all of the Hassans while we're here. 100 Faces. Putting you right here. This is a character that carried me through the entirety of the up until Camelot. After that, she kind of drops off pretty hard, but I also rolled like every assassin in the game, so I found other things to use. But for being a budget, she was perfectly viable. I would say that she goes up there. You can spam her NP pretty easily. I believe she has a built-in heal, built-in evade, and then she has Geronimo's 3 skills. So I'd say that and she also hits fucking hard, which is great. Son of the 100 Faces. Let's see, so I can make sure I'm not lying to people. Yeah, okay. Increase own NP generation rate for 3 turns by 20%, and then crit star generation by 40% for 3 turns on a 5-turn cooldown. Oh yeah, that's right. She has a chance-based projection with a guaranteed evade, 80% on all of those, which is not great. And then she has a 4,000 heal that removes her buffs. But that's fine, because if you're going to be using that, then you're already in a pretty bad spot, so that's fine. Or you can just do order with it, where you hit that, and then you hit your second skill to get the evade. And then her NP, it reduces arts resist by 20% for 3 turns. Hits so hard. Is single target and reduces their crit. She is a monster. So I'm gonna keep her up here. She's not as good as Euryale, but she's still, oh my goodness, really good. Alright. Jekyll and Hyde. I almost want to say that Geronimo is better because he has better. You know what? Geronimo is better because he has a heal on his NP. There is no NP attached to Jekyll and Hyde. As my friend Audible put it, that's just a guy. That's just anime main character's friend 2. His skills aren't great. Having him because this is a budget tier list, having him become a berserker is harder than it should be. And even then, there's so many better berserkers that have NPs. He's just not... Oh, he's not great. Poor guy. Alright, Izo. I have him up to 90 again in my heart. He's here. Exactly. I think conceptually the idea is really cool. Like if you could get him to switch to Berserker and then gave him like, I don't know, an actual, if when he switched he got something more, like they gave him like, okay, you now have the NP, which is a single target thing that deals more damage when you are damaged. That'd be great, but he needs help. In my opinion, he's the second worst unit in the game. Izo, in my heart you're here. In actuality, I would say you're like here. I've played tested with Izo a lot. He's crazy. He can loop himself super easily. He generates insane amounts of stars. He does insane damage with his skill. With his first skill, his second skill has a 3-turn cooldown to give him insane amounts of stars. His only real drawback is that it's hard to get him to NP5 because he's limited. But yeah, a lot like Asclepius, even without being max NP, he's still incredibly good. I bring him. I have almost every 5-star assassin in the game, and I bring him over some of them for certain content. And it's not just because I like the character. He's just insane. So I'm willing to put him here. I love this guy. Good guy. Big crit damage. Huge guy. Jing Ke. Single target quick. She got buffed also. If I recall correctly, I think that you are probably going to be like right here. I'm going to move you back, actually. I think Alex does more than you do. Let me peep Chen Ke. That's another character I love. But she's just very alright, if I remember. But I thought she like just recently got like another really big buff. Let's see, she has increase on crit absorption and star bomb with 15 stars. Ah, here we go. Increases own damage against king enemies for 3 turns. Self on attack active debuff, which inflicts defense down for by 10% for 3 turns to enemies when attacking with a quick card. And then increases own crit star generation rate by 50%. Her extra king damage is also 50%, 5-turn cooldown. And then she has a 30% quick buff for 1 turn and a 50% crit buff for 1 turn. That's right, she hurts herself when she does her NP. Instant kill memes. Gains 40 stars when doing her NP now. She's definitely good. She's good on paper, but I find her... Yeah, she is kind of inconsistent, I would say. But her skill of being able to deal bonus damage to king enemies, I think, puts her over the top. Like, I think that's the thing that solidifies her a bit. Because so many enemies in this game are king enemies. Like, I'm looking just at... Let's see. Just looking at this list here. 1, 2. Let's see. That's 1, 2... Is Arash a king? I don't remember. 3. I don't remember if Robin Hood's considered a king. Hard to say. He was the king of the forest, that's for sure. Let's see. Wait, was it 1, 2... 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like, you get my point. And that's just these. As they get higher in rarity, the more kings there are. And the amount of kings that are riders is a fucking lot. So I'm willing to put her up here. I think there's better, more consistent options that we'll get to. But that's fine. I realize that we skipped the Hassan. And that is Dear Sweet Serenity. I'd put you out here. Maybe no, you're better than Jaguar Warrior, but I don't think you're better than Suicide Boy. instant death memes, poison stuff. She doesn't know what she wants to be. She's like a pseudo support, pseudo DPS, and is not very good at either of them. But being arts means that she's able to loop fairly easily. But even like with the budget supports that you have, but even then, she's just kind of meh. I want her to be good because I love the character design, but I can't in good conscience put her any higher than this. It's a damn shame. That's a damn shame. Anyway, I would say Matahari. I'm gonna put her in D actually. She's better than Benkei. In fact, I think she's better than Giles. I can't go above to C with her. Because if I remember right, she doesn't have a passive. But she is like a really... She's a very decent all-around debuff support. Which, when you need that, is really situational. But she's like, if you... It's hard. It's hard to like justify bringing her. Other than like you're fighting a bunch of riders. In which case, sure. But no passive, hardly any damage. It's very difficult to justify being like, yes, I want to bring Matahari. Aside from loving her very dearly, which I do. But I can't, it's so hard to be like, yes. But debuffs galore. She's like a, you know what she is? I'm realizing it. She's like a worse Chulainn. She's like a much worse Chulainn. So I'm gonna keep her right here. But, you know, if you ever need to do like charm lock stuff, you can bring her. Like if you don't have a Steno. You can bring her along with your Euryale and just make Gawain cry. Not new Gawain. Never make new Gawain cry, because damn, baby, she thick. Alright, worst character in the game right here. I'm not... I don't want to... I don't even want to, like, go into it. He's impossible to set up. He does no damage. His NP does, like, nothing and takes forever to get there, even when you do get to it. Let me just go through his... Like, I think the most telling thing about him, and even DW recognizing that he's the worst servant, is the fact that I see him more often in events as a berserker than I do as an assassin. Because if he were a berserker, he would be somewhat viable, but he's not. He doesn't generate shit for stars. He doesn't generate, like, any NP. Let's see, Innocent Monster D, which lowers his own already abysmal health. Siren Song can stun one female, which, actually, hold on, that got upgraded. Chance to charm one enemy and remove their buffs. Okay, that's decent. Yeah. Yeah, that's a decent buff, but then mental pollution. It's like none. He has one viable skill, and that's because it was buffed. He does have an upgraded NP. Reduce their debuff resistance for 6 turns and deals damage that ignores defense. It's arts. He's a triple quick deck. There's no... Look, if you like Phantom, God bless your soul. You probably also root for the Cleveland Browns, and I'm sorry for you. So, just have fun. You're having more fun in life than I am. Alright, Sanson. Low D. Well, high D, I suppose. He has a niche. It's not a great niche. He's like a pseudo healing support that deals damage to human enemies, not humanoid. That's why Izo's so good, is because he deals if it looks human, Izo can kill it. They actually have to be a human for... they have to be human, and they have to be, I think, evil for Sanson to do anything with them. It's a character that I love. He's not good. He's great in the story. He's awful in practice. And I don't remember how good his heal is either. Let me check that. I just realized that we have 2 Charles on this list. That's kind of fun. Let's see. Also, his presence concealment that almost every assassin has is only rank D, so it doesn't generate shit for stars. Also, triple quick with a Buster NP. Yeah, okay. He does 60% damage to evil servants for 3 turns with a 5-turn cooldown. That's a good skill. He has a 3,000... Oh, hold on. A 3,000 health heal that also removes debuffs, which is not bad. And then increases own damage against human enemies for 3 turns. Oh, you do have an upgraded NP. That's good. Which chance to... Okay, and it's instant kill and reduces their defense by 50%. I might be able to... You're maybe the lowest C. Yeah, I'm gonna say you're the lowest C so far. You're totally... You are... I wouldn't even say mediocre in combat. You fill a niche that isn't needed, which I guess is kind of... It's a great, a horrible thing. Like, I would rather bring Matahari than I would to him, but he's objectively better. Kojiro, single target, quit, ton of fucking buffs, you are better than Jing Ke. Believe you have a Star Bomb, ignore Invincible, you do everything Jing Ke does, but more consistently, minus the bonus damage to kings. Yeah, the Regendo. The man, the myth, the legend. He's fun. He's a very fun character. It's another one that, like, I myself have not leveled because people on my friends list have him to 100, so I don't need to. He's just, yeah, he's got crit buffs. He's got... excuse me. Oh, that's right. He got buffed recently. Whenever he does the same thing that Jing Ke does, actually, where when he hits with his quick cards, they take more damage from quick cards, and that comes with a Star Bomb of 15 and removes own debuffs. That's really good. And this was also buffed. Ignore evade for 3 turns. Increase on critical star generation rate for 3 turns. Increase on crit star absorption for 3 turns. So he just makes more stars and gets more stars. 5-turn cooldown. And he does insane damage with his NP, which also has a Star Bomb attached. You know what? It pains me to put people above. Yeah, you're like right here. You're really good. Your one drawback, Regent. Yeah, exactly. The one drawback is the rarity. I believe he scales super well though. So if you want a super consistent assassin, that if you are at level 100, you're probably EX tier. But you're not, so you're B tier. If you weren't a 1-star, you would be one of the best characters in the game. You have so much good shit going for you. But for the right amount of money and the right amount of holy grails, you can be one of the best budget assassins. So, if this was a Who to Grail tier list, you would be up there. But it's not. So you're not. Next, Mr. Oppression himself. He's a farming berserker. So I would say that's a pretty solid niche to have. And he's also all about survivability. I'd say about here. Is he better than Jing Ke is the question. Yes, I would say. He has a lot of good stuff in his kit, but because he's like a 1-star, I'm pretty sure he's a 1-star berserker. He just dies immediately. But he has a lot of built-in survivability with that, and his NP does hit pretty hard. So I'm okay with you being here. Yeah, you're fine there. Caligula! I want to put you in cool tier. No, I don't think I can do that in good consciousness. I think you're better than Giles. Because he has, if I recall, EX, Imperial Privilege, and he's gotten some buffs. He has received some buffs, if I remember. Let's see. Oh, that's right. You are a berserker with no health who gives yourself defense down for 3 turns. Which does 30% attack, defense down on himself. Oh, you have Imperial Privilege A, which is a 3,000 heal, 40% attack and defense with a 60% chance to proc. That's not good. That's not buffed. I thought he got buffed. What got buffed? He has a really good Mattis enhancement, which is good. He has a Buster, increased Buster performance for 1 turn, deal 500 damage to himself without killing himself, with a 3-turn cooldown. And his NP is a Skill Seal and reduces defense by 30% for 3 turns to his enemies. Chance to seal their NP for 3 turns. No, you're fine right there. I would rather bring Matahari than I would you. There's so many better options than what he does. And he dies so fast because he just fucks himself up. Yeah, I cannot justify bringing... I would rather have him than Benkei. I'd rather have him than Giles, but not Matahari. So I have to keep him there. Asterios! My boy. I'd say right here. He's good. He has a niche. He has a very powerful niche. The issue is that he's a berserker. If he was any other class, he would be probably A or EX tier because of what he does. Just the consistent super debuffs. And if you can support him with these lower supports, like if you pair him with Paracelsus, give him like a Paracelsus and a Boudica who can now target the guts on him. And you can make just all of the debuffs in the world with him. But, like, why would you want to do that, first of all? And second of all, that's too hard to set up. I'm thinking that you're actually down here. Again, if this was a Grail tier list, I'd put him a little bit higher, but it's not, so I'd say you're right here. I'd rather have you than Jaguar Warrior, which hurts my heart to say. Eric. This is not where I'm putting him. I'm looking up what he does. Can we talk about how Eric has only, I think, ever appeared once? I think he's in Okeanos, and then he never shows up again. Like, I think maybe he showed up for, like, Christmas one year, but I don't think he's ever been in anything else that DW's ever made. And why? Why is that? Because if I remember right, his kit is, like, not bad. He's weird. Yeah, first skill, reduce one enemy's attack for 2 turns, reduce their defense for 2 turns. 15% attack decrease, 30% defense decrease. 5-turn cooldown. Standard battle continuation, 2,200. Oh my god. 2,000 HP recovery. And then his third skill removes his own debuffs, increases his own max HP for 3 turns by 3,000. Madness Enhancement B, and then he deals 1,000 damage to self and deals damage to all enemies, and then increases his own attack by 50%. So he's all about them debuffs. He's somewhere in this area. Is he better than Diarmuid? No. Okay, so you're right here. Yeah, that's a shame. He needs some help. You know what? I don't even think that he's better than. I would rather have. He does what Matahari does, but he has damage attached to it. But he's a berserker, so he just dies. So I think I'd rather have a Matahari than I would a Eric Bloodaxe. So I'm gonna put him right here. Bunyan. Dear sweet Bunyan. They're going right here. There's a lot of support capabilities packed into one lolly. She hits pretty hard with her NP. She's got Buster buff, a heal, and God, what's the other one? Defense down. If I remember right. Let me double check that. Okay, yeah, crit damage and Buster performance by 20%, 3-turn cooldown. Recovers 2,000 HP to everybody, and then reduces defense and heal rate on enemies for three turns for the defense, 5 turns for the healing received. Yeah, she's got a pretty low madness enhancement, that's fine. And then her NP is AoE, hits pretty damn hard, and reduces defense by 30%. So what you want to do with her pretty much is you want to put her in, have her step on someone, buff your guys, and then fucking die. And that's all you want from her, and she's super good at it. So she's fairly, honestly, in my experience, she's been fairly consistent with that. I would say I'd bring her over a Spartacus. She's good for just coming in, fucking shit up, and then leaving. She's fantastic. Alright, Mori! What do you do, Mori? I know that you're really angry, so you scream. And this is a guy who's coming up soon. I've seen a lot of videos where this guy just goes in and destroys things. If you pair him up with Chen Gong, he just is absolutely bonkers. Let's see, first skill. Increases own crit damage by 100%. 6-turn cooldown. Increases own debuff resist by 100%. And chance to reduce own buff success rate by 100% for 3 turns as buff. And then, second skill, 5-turn cooldown. On attack, activate buff for 3 attacks, 3 turns. 500% chance to increase own attack for 3 turns when attacking, with a 15% attack that stacks. Decreases own defense by 10% every time he attacks. And his third skill is he increases his own critical star absorption rate by 5,000%. On death, on death for 3 turns, he will make 20 stars. And then he has an ignore invincibility NP, ignore defense, and it hits like a goddamn truck. And he's single target. He's like up here. I would say, yeah, he's better than Proto Cu. He's better than Shake. He's better than is he better than Izo? I'm gonna say no. Well, no, I'm gonna say, you know what? Oh my gosh. You're right. Okay, you're right above Izo. If he wasn't good at Gouda Lock, that's what I was thinking. He would be, if he was not good at Gouda Lock, he'd be up here, maybe even up here. And that's only because of Chen Gong. If Chen Gong wasn't a servant, Mori's like B tier. Because Chen Gong is a servant, he's like, I'm gonna put him above Izo. Because his biggest weakness is the same as Izo's, where they're both Gouda locked. So I cannot justify putting him higher than Medea, who's consistent always and is always NP5. Alright. Time for Darius Age III. Let's see. If I recall, he has recently received a buff. Let's see. First skill, Golden Rule B. 45% NP gen rate up. It's pretty good. It's got Disengage, which increases his own HP and removes buffs. 2,500, 5 turns. Third skill, give himself Guts. Reduce all enemies' buster resistance by 20% for 3 turns. It's not bad. He has an upgraded NP, which is AoE. Reduces attack by 30% and defense by 30%. That's pretty good. That's not bad at all. So, let's see. Is he better than Medusa? I guess that's my real question right now. I'm thinking no. Well... yeah, I think so. I think Medusa's better. So that's going to be my cutoff point. Speaking of cutoff points... to adjust this real quick. Why is it not giving me the option to change this? There we go. Come on. Forgive me, this looks kind of sloppy, but we gotta work with what we got. There we go. Yeah, I'm cool with him being there. I think Medusa's a bit more consistent because she has an NP charge attached to her. But other than that, yeah. Alright. I gotta readjust this again. God bless it. There we go. There we go. That's close. Close enough. Lu Bu. The man himself, Lu Bu. Let me see. This is another character. This is a character I know is good, but I personally have never leveled because one of my first 5-star servant was Ku Walter, who just does what Lu Bu does, but so much better. He's just insane. Ku Walter is fucking insane. Let's see, he has increased his own attack by 27% and mental debuff resist by 36%. It's pretty good. Restless Soul, which increases own buff, increases own defense by 25%. Reduces offensive buff success rate for 3 turns. It's not good. That's kind of a, that skill's not good enough to warrant using that debuff. Then his third skill increases NP damage, increases crit star absorption by 3,000%, and reduces defense by 20%. Reduces party's defense by 20% except for himself. 10% madness enhancement. Non-upgraded NP, but it ignores defense and it hits like a goddamn truck, and it has a chance to stun them. To me, he reads as being he's like the buster. He's like the single target buster guy, right? I think Mori's just better though. I don't know. I feel like he's dropped off as time's gone on. Like, I think he still does the job well. I'm gonna put him right here. I think he does the job well, but there's other counterclassing that I think you'd rather do. Oh my goodness. And if you can't counterclass, then bring him. I just think that Mori seems more consistent than he is going to be. But then again, this could just be an example of being a character that I'm not as familiar with, even though he's been out forever. And he's just a lot better than he seems. And I've seen plenty of like budget videos where Lu Bu just goes off. But basing the opinions of where these characters would fit on budget videos is not... I don't think that's... No, that's not true. I think that's actually a pretty fair idea. I don't know. I see more videos like that with Mori than I do with Lu Bu. Kiyohime! Right here. No, right here. Oh my gosh. I have to check if they've changed anything about her since I last was aware. I don't think they did. Let's see. First skill is increasing her own defense for 3 turns, and she inflicts the spreading fire status for 5 turns to all enemies. So that's just a buff that's always up. It's pretty good. Second skill reduces an enemy's defense by 24%, but gives them a 20% attack buff for 3 turns. Third skill is removes own debuffs, increase buster performance for 1 turn by 30% for 5-turn cooldown. 12% buster up passive. Non-upgraded NP. I did not know the Kiyohime's NP had a chance to stun. And it inflicts burn for 10 turns to them, which that's pretty good when you have a consistent always up. I think this is another example. If Chen Gong wasn't in the game, I would put her much. In fact, I think I had to. I'm gonna. I think she's better than Darius. Is she better than Medusa? No. Because she needs more help. There's a lot of Kiyohime fans out there. So don't hate me for this. This is a waifu tier list. She's actually right, and I'm kidding. Let's see. Salome. This character is a meme. This character is a meme brought to life. I think she's right here. Her whole gimmick is that if she survives for 7 turns, she gives a 100%. She's okay, super fun to use her burn. Oh yeah, she seems very fun, but I don't know if I'd put her in, unless I was like, I don't know. I'd have to do more play testing with her. She's solidly okay. She's middle of the pack B. Salome. The reward that you're getting for using her is not worth the risk of bringing her. Normally, she's a gimmick character, and you can make her work. Doing double Salome is a really kind of fun thing to do, but it's hard to to justify being like, yes, I'm going to bring this character, because she also removes her own defensive debuffs, one at a time, mind you, but she still removes them over the course of 7 turns. So unless you're like doing some like a weird gimmick fight, I wouldn't bring her. But she still, like, her NP still does like some pretty damn good damage. I'm pretty sure it's single target. Let me double check that real quick. Okay, yeah, okay, she's increases own damage against lawful good enemies and her own attack. 50% against lawful good, 20% on her attack. Yeah, her third skill's the gimmick one. And then debuff immune 1 time, 3 turns. Increases own defense for 3 turns. Grab blah blah blah. Yeah. She is single target. Cool. Anti-unit. So yeah. I don't know. She's a gimmick servant. I don't know what else to say about her. You, sir, are like right here. Not even that. You're like right here. I would rather bring Giles than I would you. I have, fucking, what is your name even? You're like such a bad unit and so hard to find that it doesn't even justify, like, having him around. His gimmick is anti-beast and hurting himself, and those two are niches that are not really needed. Angra Manyu, that's his name. Yeah, to be a character that's only good when you have your craft essence, your Bond CE, and even then being incredibly niche and not counterclassing shit unless you're like fighting a ruler. It's so hard to justify bringing him. I can't in good conscience say, there's more, you get more utility. I would say you get more utility out of the fucking clown. He's like more of an I've rolled the friend points thing for a while and I got this guy. But, you know, if you're really hard up for an Avenger, you bring this guy, Salieri. Who I would say is better than Medusa, but not better than Tell. I've come to find that William Tell is like the perfect middle of the pack character. He's like solidly just fine. So he works as a good barrier to be like, okay, are they better than fine? Salieri's good. He's just not great, and he's story locked. The only reason why I've been able to play test with him as an NP5 is because I rolled on a Jolter banner. Sorry, I rolled on the extra class banner, and I got 9 of him. And I think a CE, and I wanted to cry. All of his skills are, like, they last for 5 turns, and they work for 3 hits. I believe it's an arts buff, a defense down, and a crit generator. And then his NP reduces arts. I believe it reduces arts resistance and is AoE. He's like solidly okay, but because he's limited and an Avenger, it's so rare when you actually want to bring him. Okay, yeah, first skill, gain crit stars, increase crit damage, 3 attacks, 5 turns by 30%. 30% arts buff, 5 turn cooldown, second skill. Third skill is Wildfire, which reduces one enemy's defense for 3 attacks for 5 turns. And then... Okay, no, for his NP, he deals damage to all enemies and has a... Okay, it does reduce the arts resistance, but it also reduces your party's crit generation by 20%. He's okay. He's fine. And then the best budget unit in the game is MASH. I will hear no debates on this. Oh! There is no reason to not bring MASH throughout the entirety of playing through the story and every event. She is just the best when it comes to being a defense character, when it comes to having a budget character because she costs 0. She's just hands down the best. And being a pseudo whale who has other supports to rely on, kind of, I would rather have MASH. Like an absolutely broken combo. This is breaking the rules of this tier list, but whatever, I'm just going to go into it. Is having her, having Archer Artoria, and having a Tamamo. And just being able to forever heal yourself and murder anything. Anything. Except for Lancers. That's the one thing that you're weak against, but other than that, you just destroy everything. Like, that is my anti-boss combo consistently, is to have them. Like, that combination there. She fits with whale teams, she fits with non-whale teams. She has, like, I'm pretty sure that if you have her at 10-10-10, her taunt skill, when you use it, just, like, you immediately get the NP back, your NP, if you have 2 arts cards and a quick card hit with it. It's guaranteed. Or if you just have, one of your arts cards crits when you're using that, instant NP, automatically. It's insane. She's just the best. Plus, her NP is fucking nuts. So you can just cut down, you never take damage, it's perfect. Also, targetable invincibility is fucking insane. And it was so good, in fact, they had to make a VR match for the Lost Belts where, like, the Lost Belts would be easy. Yeah, she and Leonidas, I think, share that exact same skill. It's absolutely insane. VR mesh, I'm gonna put, like, here. Am I? It's VR mesh is hard to justify bringing outside, because if you're in a Lost Belt, she still has she doesn't have any team cost, which is phenomenal. Actually, her first skill, I think, gets buffed. Let me see. Let me see. Yes, her first skill gets buffed to where it does increase on buster performance for 1 attack 3 turns, increase on crit damage of buster cards for 1 attack 3 turns, ignores defense for 3 turns. Her buster buff is hold on. Her buster buff is 100%, and her buster crit damage is 100%. So if you hit with a buster crit, it does 200% damage on a 4-turn cooldown that ignores defense with a 3-turn uptime. Mind you, this for 1 attack, but still. Second skill is just the taunt. 500% taunt and 20% NP gauge charge. Third skill is also a taunt with an invincibility which takes away 500 health at max level, but cannot kill her. The other thing that's worth mentioning is that in the Lost Belts, she has an increase of bond points by 20% if you bring her with you, which is a very coveted thing because people want them bond Cs, and that's a great way to get them. But the issue is that I cannot in good faith justify. I would say I'd say about here. No, I'd say about here. I have to readjust this as well. There we go. Yeah, she's good. It's one that DW wants VR Mash to be some kind of damage dealer. Well, her kit is most... Exactly. Like, her first skill doesn't make any sense. I get it. It's a story thing. And I'm cool with it just being a story thing. The viability of VR Mash will never live up to OG Mash. Unless something crazy happens in, like, this newest Lost Belt. And it could. It's hard to say. But, as of right now, like, she's good because she has that taunt. If you somehow have, like, volume hydrangea or the thing that's volume hydrangea but with, like, evade. And that's a big if because both of those are, like, kind of hard to come by. If you attach those to her, she can absorb 2 turns of hits, guaranteed, and with no repercussions, which is good. That's an insane combo, but it's just not. It's not as good as regular Mash, and I'm putting her below Medea because Medea being able to just straight up remove straight up remove buffs consistently and being able to spam doing that, I think is more viable than having infinite taunts when characters like George exist or Leonidas exist. I mean, even Gareth with her buff, I would say, is like slightly better in that kind of a situation, but like, I don't know, the fact that she is like unaffected by class on both of those kind of makes up for it, so you can bring her in any situation. I don't know. It's hard. I'm thinking that's fine. This is it. This is my tier list. If anybody has any disagreements, I'm more than willing to hear them out, and I may change based on what you have to say. However, as of right now, this is how things are. And I do plan on uploading this to YouTube. And maybe I'll do, maybe I'll pin a comment or something. I saw someone else do this on a tier list where they pinned a comment and they were updating it every time one of these characters got buffed and were saying where they would move it up and down. I think that was Hanako Green. Go check him out. He makes good stuff. But yeah. that's going to be about it for me, I think, because I've been talking for about 3 hours straight, and my voice is hoarse. So, that's the tier list. Screenshot it. Send your threats to my Twitter. If you want to see me do more of this stuff, I want to stream more FGO content later. Like, later is in, like, sometime soon. Probably with, like, I'll probably stream the Gouda Gouda event when that comes around. So if anyone wants to see that, just let me know. Just go ahead, follow, like, do all that good nonsense. If you're watching this on YouTube, twitch.tv/KlidgeRadio. Go follow my stuff. I'll be around. Alright, that's going to be it for me for now. Thank you. I'm trying to think of a way how I can say your name. Is it Blackie and Arga? Thank you for sticking with me through this. I'm a go, like, make a cup of coffee or something. So, till next time, peace out, everyone.